So here's the thing about this. We have been so trained to only allow certain emotions to move through us. The things that we were told as little kids, big girls don't cry, rage is inappropriate, melancholy is not good. We should always be happy. We should always be happy and put on a smile. And I'm inviting us to start to explore a fuller range of emotion. For us to start to become these beings who have access to a fuller range of healthy emotion, so that our rage is still linked with love, so that my grief is still linked with love, right? So that my aggravation and annoyance is still linked with love and truth, right? It's starting to invite the wisdom of emotions to mature to a different level, right? Is that making sense? So a lot of us were told emotions are not wise, like get rid of them. There's nothing in them. They're a waste of time. And certain emotions we were definitely told that those were not healthy. So this morning, I'll share a quick story. This morning, I'm walking and I am aggravated as shit, right? I am crunchy. I am uncomfortable in my skin. I'm aggravated at everything. It doesn't even matter what it is. I am aggravated. I'm aggravated that a text message comes in, and then I'm aggravated that a text message doesn't come in, and then I'm aggravated, right? I'm aggravated. But I know that this is just energy moving through me. I'm not attached to it. I'm not projecting it out. I'm not placing it on something. I'm curious about it. I'm not telling myself I'm bad. I'm not telling myself I'm a bad facilitator. I'm not spiritual. I'm not loving. I'm not connected to my true self. I'm not serving the higher good. Whatever story I could go into. I'm simply going, I am really aggravated. What is that? What is that? And what it was for me was aggravation often comes when I haven't, how do I put words to this? When I'm not seeing something. Like aggravation comes when I'm not seeing something, and it's often my relationship to something else. Like if I'm not seeing my relationship to something else or someone else or another energetic, I'm not seeing the interplay, there's an aggravation. Or if that interplay, right, let's say here's healthy line of interplay between, let's just say it's two people, right? This person and me, right? And it's this healthy interplay is here. And then when it comes and it's it's almost like a boundary, right? Like if a boundary it's a little bit too close, then there's this aggravation that happens in my system. And it is a glorious marker to have. It is as an extraordinary empath and an extraordinarily sensitive being walking on this planet, this is one of the greatest gifts that I have, is my aggravation. Now, it took me 30 some years to bring it to a place where it became a gift, where my judgment of it didn't stuff it down, where the expression of it wasn't, for lack of a better way of saying it, distorted or projecting onto something. It simply became a wisdom arising. It's a wisdom arising in me. And so here's an invitation as we start to share through all of this. And we're in some intense territory. We are in, and this is why it's such a great gift and such great training ground and such great practice time right now. Is we've got this capacity to break through a lot of old conditioning, a lot of old patterning. And so I'm inviting us to just, can we allow ourselves to feel more than we've ever felt just for this time that we're together? Just for this time that we're together. Can we allow ourselves to feel more, and to feel whatever it is without a judgment, and with ownership that this is an energy arising in myself, right? So my aggravation all morning, this is an energetic arising in myself. This is an energetic arising in myself. It quite legitimately has nothing to do with what someone else is doing, right? It's all to do with me. And that's us standing in our power. That's us standing in our power. Am I making sense? So I'm not standing in victim going, that person has crossed my boundary. Come on, Sabrina. Come on. This is a dance between two people and you're dancing, sunshine. And you, instead of dancing here, you danced here with that person. And so you're dancing here and it's not feeling good for you. Agitation to me used to be like a spiral and a spin, and it would like grab a hold of me and wipe me out. Or like same with rage, or same with grief. It would be something like I would have an attachment to it, to not wanting to feel that or not wanting to express that. And now agitation to me is like happiness. And that sounds crazy, but I don't have an attachment to having to be happy. I find there to be bliss in deep sadness. I find there to be bliss in rage. I find there to be bliss in agitation. So it's not that the feeling or the emotion has to ever changed necessarily. It's my relationship to it. So probably to just weave back over to what Leo was sharing, is it's this constant evolution and constant working around coming into deeper and deeper connection and a healthier and healthier relationship to our emotions, so that it becomes a source of wisdom, a source of information for us, instead of something that, I mean, shit, we could use emotion to manipulate. I mean, I know I've been guilty of that in my younger years. Like hell yeah, I'll use emotion to manipulate all day long, right? Or I will use it as an escape mechanism, or I will use it as all sorts of different reasons, but it to become healthier and healthier and healthier and healthier, the more that we work in all of these capacities. So yeah, so like I can even hear that we hear the word agitation and we go, oh, that's bad, right? Like Sabrina, I can't even imagine you would be agitated. Why? Like agitation is just as good as like bliss. Yeah, like, do you see what I'm saying? It becomes like it doesn't matter what the expression is. It's that there's just such wisdom in it, and it's just giving me different wisdom in a different language, but it's all coming from a source of love. Yeah. I remember I was living in Australia, and when I moved to Australia, I had nothing. I moved there with 2 suitcases. I had nothing. I owned personal training studios here in the States, like gyms, fitness gyms, and I gave them to my business partner. She's my childhood best friend, and I felt really bad about leaving, so I just gave her the businesses. So I had nothing. I moved to Australia with no job, no nothing. I moved there for a relationship, so I had a relationship in my life, and that relationship came to an end. And I remember I'm in a foreign country. I'm living with this man. I'm on a partner visa with this man. So to me, at that moment, it felt like the whole rug that was beneath me was getting ripped out from me, right? Like my very foundations, I can't live there because I don't have a visa. I don't have a way to stay there. I don't have a home. My whole family there was his family. My whole community was his community at that point. And it was just like everything was gone. And I was on the floor bawling, like the ugly cry in the kitchen where you couldn't even make it to the couch or the bed. You're on the floor of the kitchen, and I'm on the floor of the kitchen, and I'm wailing and like the grief and the loss and the fear and there was this moment in that where I felt I am more alive in this moment than I have been in a long time. Like I am so alive. I am so alive. And there was this awe of life and this awe and gratitude and love of every expression of life, even this one of complete loss of everything and complete grief and completely shattered. But this love and this awe of, oh my God, this is life. This is just an expression of life. And I'm so alive. And every emotion is Shakti. It's an expression of life itself. It's an expression of energy. Every one of them. And when we I just want to feel for the words. We can express any emotion with grace and with love and with truth and with divinity pouring through us. We can, any expression, like the divine can flow through us, grace can flow through us, love can flow through us while doing any action in the world. That's a hard truth. That is a hard truth. That is a hard truth to honor, but it is true truth. It is a true truth through any action. It's not the action. It's not the action. It's the energy that's moving the action. It's the energy that's making the action happen. For us to live from a place that is so far beyond what we have been told is right and wrong, what we have been told is godly and not godly, is divine and is not divine. We could tone it down too. Like, where did we absorb that watching television is not like the highest expression of the divine in the moment? And I am inviting us to let our truth and our capacity to allow grace and love and light to flow through us, instead of it just right here, where this is what I can handle. Like I've meditated for 3 days. I've not spoken to anyone. I am going to write a poem, right? Like, because that's the only expression of the divine that I can handle. It's where my bandwidth is at, and there's nothing wrong with that bandwidth. There's nothing wrong with that bandwidth at all. Like even just having an expression where we've got like a clear channel for it to come through, where there's no rubble, there's no residual, there's, like, okay, I can live from soul after I've meditated for 3 days, fasted, not seen any people, and I have a piece of paper and a pen in front of me, and that's it. That's all I got. So that's super extreme. But I'm inviting us to go from whatever bandwidth we have to boom, bandwidth, right? I'm at the kitchen table and the family is throwing shit from my childhood at me, right? That is a part of my bandwidth. I'm making love. That is not angelic, sweet, pretty love, right? I'm in like rip you apart, fuck you, flip you upside down kind of making love. And it's serving the greatest good, because that is the energy the moment is calling for. And do you see what happens when we expand our capacity? We are suddenly we are able to gift in ways that we could never have gifted before. We are able to gift in situations we would never have been able to touch before. We are able to allow an energetic to flow through our system that is the greatest expression of love and light that person could ever receive in that moment. We have the capacity to do it. I remember when I first started seeing Stav's this like Greek Spartan of a man, and like Greek, traditional old Greek men, like they love fire, right? I mean, fit for me, not at the start, but they like to have love come through in rage, like with fire and rage. It is a flavor of love that does something for him that no other flavor of love does. No other flavor of love cuts through his bullshit like that, brings him back to his godliness, brings him back to his center. There's no other one. I sucked at it at the start. Like rage and love? What? Huh? I can't even comprehend, like, what? Huh? And that's with all of them. I'm just giving rage as an example. I'm just kind of sharing this story as an example, and developing that capacity to allow love to come through in any expressions. It opens, it widens. And I know I'm talking about so much service to other, service to other, service to other, service to other. But for me, for us as individuals, we get to be in soul all of the time, right? We get to be in alignment. We get to be these channels of love, of soul, of high truth, of everything that we're here for, right? Everything that we signed up to be together over this year for is embodiment of soul, embodiment of soul. And to live life from that place, for me, there is nothing that is more fulfilling, more love-filled, more whole, more connected, more satisfying, more pleasurable, more... I don't have the words for it. True, more true. There's no way of being truer self than that. So everything that we are doing together, we are going from this, right? This bandwidth to like this bandwidth, or even if it's to go from this to this, that's monumental. That's monumental. It's monumental. It's monumental. So I'm going, okay, if the bandwidth is here and I'm expanding the bandwidth, and I'm I used to always say this line of I'm just derubbling that particular aspect of self. I'm releasing any of the residue that's sitting in that line, like my rage line. Oh my God, did I have some residue? Blech. Right? Like I even explained the story yesterday of the the past life experience and just how much rage I had sitting in there. And so, like, just the purifying of it, the derubbling it, purifying, I think sometimes it's just a really tough, aggravating word. But the derubbling of that line, so the residual stuff comes out. So the stuff my mom's voice in my head disappears of being angry is bad. Good girls don't get angry, or she never said that. But I'm just giving us some examples of things. And that's kind of one of the aspects of what we're doing in this work is moving some of the grunge out, some of the rubble out, some of the residual stuff out to widen the bandwidth. So I really want to honor how much we're doing in this space and give us that complete freedom to fail the best we can, to just fail the best we can. That's it. We just fail the best we can with it. And I know this might be really pushing it. This might push the aggravation buttons for sure. What if we were to not take ourselves so seriously? Like, just what if we were to not take ourselves so seriously? What if we were to see just for a moment, and then we can get back into the intensity and all of that, but just for a moment, like, what if we were to just see this is a grand playground? This life, this world is just a grand playground. It is this wild and fascinating playground that we get to have all of these experiences. We get to create these interesting dynamics. We get to create these experiences and these relationships, and we get to be in these family systems. And it's a playground. It's a playground for our growth. It's a playground for our soul's evolution. It's a playground where we get to have dreams and we get to have this destiny that we feel to fulfill, and we get to have the experience of soul embodiment in this place, and we get the experience of that feeling of being in flow. We get to experience all of these things. And so, yeah, just an invitation for the allness, the absolute allness.